These first few pictures, if I go through them correctly and don't mess this up, hopefully, is from Iwalu. You're going to hear about their fun times there. Look at that. Okay, as a mom at camp, the family looked happy. What did I say about miracles? I told you they happened. Oh, no wonder you're so happy. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're the ones who get you to go to Iwalu. That's right. Look at that. Still happiness. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from what I'm going to call the Iwalu gang, and you're going to tell us a little bit about it. So if you guys want to step up to the mic right here, tell us about your experience.
My name is Sally Hoka, and for the last several years, my children have been attending Iwalu Bible Camp with the help from the Campership Fund here at Our Saviors. Iwalu is located in Strawberry Point, Iowa, and it's a sister camp to Good Earth Village. It's about 2 hours south from here. Myself and my 4 children attended family camp this summer at Iwalu with some of my extended family, and this picture up here is my extended family that attended this year. It was a fun, faith-filled weekend that included singing around bonfires, games, worshiping in the woods, tie-dyeing, zip-lining, wagon rides, lots of food, and quality family time. We ended the weekend with a Sunday morning service with beautiful hymns. I can't say enough about the young counselors and the faith leaders we met. They play a huge part in guiding the children during the week and are especially talented in sharing God's Word. There is something special about sitting outside in this beautiful place that God created and sharing His Word and faith with others. What an amazing experience. So thanks again for helping to make it possible for all of these kids to experience this wonderful place with others. And then my daughter Gretchen, this was her first year at Iwalu for the whole week by herself. And she didn't want to read, so I'm going to read her letter. So these are her words. This was my first year at Camp Iwalu. I stayed for a whole week. Some of my favorite things to do were singing songs, creek stomping, and the cabin Olympics. I made a lot of friends, and the counselors and the helpers are really nice. My favorite places to go were the cabins, hiking, the pool, the Gaga ball pit. I'm not sure what that is. And I heard about it, but I didn't partake. And art and crafts. I also went to family camp where we tie-dyed shirts and went swimming in the creek and played games in the cabins. And then this is he also went for a whole week by himself.
Hello, my name is Aaron. I've been camping for the past 3 years. It is very fun learning about Jesus and worshiping God. This year, I slept in TVs and looking at stars. At Camp Iwalu, there is a high ropes course and a roller course. We do a lot of hiking and play a lot of fun games. Thank you for helping me to go to Iwalu, and I plan on going back for many years.
Very good. Now I'm just going to transition over, going over here, to Good Earth Village. For the whole summer, one of the main themes was beloved, and you'll notice it's the 3 crosses, triune God, within the heart. And if you know your Lutheran symbols, of course, it mimics that inner heart, and of course with the single cross of Luther's cross. And I'm going to start with the confirmands. Now, you heard from Audrey, and Ellie was here last night, and we have one more. Step up and tell them your name. And were you in camp all week?
Yes, I was.
And did you survive classes with Pastor Mark?
No.
Yeah. I thought you looked a little tough right now, so okay. And what we heard from Audrey, was that true?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, you can stand back. Sometimes people say, oh, they just do those videos to make it sound like, oh, they're doing these things. We really do this. And go ahead, and if you remember which camp of the Good Earth Village you were attending, and you were after, just tell them your first name, or you want to tell me your whole name and just tell them which one you attended.
I'm Christopher Noah. I went to Good Earth Village.
Very good. He just told you. Did you remember? Did you go to? Because we got to check the sound anyway, so I want you to stand right up here. We're not even going to move the mic. Let's see how we do. So go ahead. What's your name? And you went to which camp? All right, very good. And what age group were you at? I'll read this song. 9. You were at the 9-year-olds. Okay, very good. Now, I don't have everything from their camping experience, but we do have a closing video that will help relate not only to them, but to Alexis as well and the confirmands, because during their time, there are all kinds of fun things. This was one of the, I think this was one of the songs that you guys helped with. Because what they would do, they did different skits up front, and just a quick show of hands, how many of you besides this group, has anybody else been to Iwalu? There we go. Don't put your hand out and be proud. Come on. There. I'll make you hold them all day. There you are. We got a few over there. Very good. Now, how many of you have been to Good Earth Village? Raise your hand with me. Okay. That's a pretty good example of the number of people who've been to camp. If you ever wonder, what is it that we do and why we ask you to support the church ministry, this is a great example. You're sitting in the pews, you've been to camp. It was because the congregation's being so supportive. These folks up here, same thing. My home, our Savior's Lutheran, same thing. That's why we are so thankful how you support this. And I share in those same kind of memories and things that these guys do from being younger and older going to camp. It is a privilege being able to go, and it's exciting, and it's actually a lot of fun. Now, this actually looks like work, but they were actually, they were actually filling things out, saying nice things about their different cabin mates. And if you've ever been to camp, so here's the other part. It's sort of like a trial run if you're going to go away to go to school, because you're living with strangers for a week, and they might not be exactly who you imagine God would send into your life, but they're all children of God. So sometimes they may keep you up late at night and they almost drive you crazy, but then you never know how you're affecting them. Camp is a reminder of how we all can find the good in one another. And so they were writing all these things, all these good things about each other. And then they actually received letters. You got your letter, didn't you, right? And it was filled with these, correct? Say? They said nice things about you, didn't they? I knew they did. And this was another one of the skits that they were doing. They were showing people. And every day they would do that. And that's a part of the outdoor worship experience there. Now, I mentioned that there was a beloved theme. So at this time, we're going to do one of the exercises that was done with the campers. How many people were paying attention to the gospel this morning? Don't raise your hand. Everybody was, right? Because I want to just go back through and hear what Jesus told that 12. He called the 12 and said to them, whoever wants to be first must be last of all and servant of all. Then he took a little child, put it among them, and taking it in his arms, he said to them, whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes not me, but the one who sent me. So, since you have the little grandchild, will you hold up this little one? And it's just fussy. So that means, maybe she should cry for us. The one time. You're being so good, I was hoping you should cry. So, we welcome children into the church, whether they're acting beautifully or, she should start crying on that point, or if they're all crying, right? Oh, there you go. Okay. But remember, we're all children of God. Church is for children, the children of God. From the youngest to the oldest. And part of the camp experience is to remind us of that sacred relationship we have with each other as children of God. And we have to be welcoming. You know, we can't be old and set in our ways and get crusty about it and saying, oh, those kids in church. No, we have to welcome them. Because once upon a time, just like me, we're all little children of God. Now we're just big children of God. And we focus on welcoming. Why? Because if we welcome them in the name of Jesus, we welcome them in the name of the triune God. We welcome them because they are all beloved. They are beloved. And so this morning, we're going to do one of those exercises dealing with the relationships as children of God. So, I am going to ask for you, and you, and you, and you. All right. Now, if you'll take that, hold it very carefully, and just go over to there. And just wait for my signal. So stand right over there, especially by that choir. Don't let them out of your sight. All right. I'm going to put you, as an official, I'm going to have you stand over to see where Dean is. Go right over by Mr. Simmons. There you go. Okay. You guys, I want you to go right over here first. And if you're going to be on that side, you stand right there. Oh, and by the way, nice job with band, Austin, Minnesota. Yes! We did not plan this. Austin. What we're going to do is we are going to do, it's usually you get a pebble in your hand, but instead we're going to use these little numbers. So as you can see, these are not for the little ones. So we're not going to give them to the littlest child because we don't want anybody to choke in church, okay? So we're going to pass these along. Take one. Only one for yourself, and just hold on to it, okay? And make sure that the age-appropriate children get them. Can you help us all as children of God? Oh, very good. All right, so before we start, let's go ahead and let them choose one. Go ahead. And I want you to start going down. You'll give Darla one. I already have mine. So go ahead and just start passing them. So alternate in the pews. She'll get her. So go ahead and start with this one. And you can go ahead and just pass it down. Yep. Yep, go ahead and pass it down. Then go to the next pew for that. There you go. Take a moment. And while we're doing this part, okay, once you get your pebble, so to speak, or this really nice little glass piece, I want you to put it in the palm of your hand. And as soon as you have yours, I want you to take it. Did you get one? Okay, very good. Just take it like this. Just put it in the palm of your hand. Close your hand like that. Now, if you're unable to completely close your hand, it'll be fine. Just leave it in your hand. Because the next part will be easy. Alright? So once you have that in the one hand, then I'm going to have you cover it with your other hand so you can't see it. I hope you all memorized what it looked like. If you didn't, take a quick peek. And look at the color. Quick peek. Alright. Upset because they're too young to have one. See what I tell you? I knew we'd have somebody crying. Where were you at the start of my message? I tell you, sometimes our choreography is not perfect, right? So just bear with us. And let somebody finally cry. Because that's what I really mean. Is the church is for all ages, and no matter what's happening. I'm sorry you don't get a phone, I'm sorry. How about a nice treat after worship? That's not working for you. And once my helpers are done, helpers, remember to pick one out for yourself before you place it back up here. got it like that? Now, as we're getting ready here, what I want you to do is, in your mind, I want you to think about not your own child, if you have children. I want you to think about a child. And I don't care whether it's one that you really like or one that always gave you trouble, whatever, but I want you to think of a child. Here, let's put that one. That's kind of big. And you guys all have yours? All right. So go like this. Put the other hand over. So think of a child. Okay? Now, except for me, please close your eyes. I want you to just think about that child, okay? Do you have that child's image in your mind? Okay. Now, with that, I want you to open your eyes and look at your hands only. Look directly like this, okay? Just look at your hands and nothing else. So open your eyes, look down at your hands. I want you to take a nice slow breath. Say the name of that child on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. And breathe out. Breathe back in again, a nice breathe. And as you breathe out, say the word love. Looking at your hand, and imagine that pebble inside now is the representation of that child. And the love you have for that child, whether they were well behaved or not, we love all children of God. Because remember what Jesus says, whoever welcomes one such child in my name, welcomes me, welcomes God. So now, I want you to repeat after me, and you fill in the name of that child. I pray for, say the name of your child. Now breathe in. Nice breathe out. And then say to them, you are loved. And if they are no longer with us, we'll all say this together. Say, they are loved. They are loved. Now join with me. Repeat after me. In the name of God, as a child of God, you are loved. Now with your hands closed, just imagine that that little pebble there represents that loved one of God. It's a tiny pebble. It reminds us that we all start out as a small child of God. No matter how long we exist on this earth, whether we get to be big and old, or we only have a brief few moments of beginning, we are all just like that small tiny pebble, just one of the small intricate weavings. Just like pebbles and rocks you see all around you and how they make up the earth. Just a all small part of that, but we all end up fitting together. Just like this pebble is fit into the palm of your hand. And so now silently, repeat in your mind, just silently, but I'll give you the words to repeat. So first, name your person. And in your mind, just repeat this. Child of God. You are loved by God. You are loved by me. And you are welcome into the house of God and into the kingdom of God. Take a nice, slow, deep breath. Exhale. And join with me in these words. Beloved, let us love one another.
Let us love one another.
For love comes from God.
Love comes from God.
I want you to open your hand and look at that. For this week, this will be the representation of that child. And I want you to remember the words of Jesus. Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes Jesus and welcomes God. And just for a week, until we meet again next Sunday, I want you just once a day to remember the words, you're loved and you're welcome. Because that's what it means to be beloved. Because that's how God looks at us. We are just one of billions. We're just one of the tiny pieces. Even in the body of Christ, we're only one of 2 billion. But God looks at us and loves each one of us as tiny little people for who we are as beloved children of God. Let us pray. Good morning, God. Thank you for Jesus, who reminds us to be servants first. And most importantly, to welcome all, because all are your beloved children. Just as we are beloved children, because you love each and every one of us. We give you thanks for this. We sing your praises. We shout to you, saying, Alleluia and Amen. Thank you. Thank you, campers. Thank you, everyone.